Welcome back. In our last video, we actually create database, right? And all the table actually we need for this project. So here you can see all the table categories, comments, post, user. So today we actually work with user authentication. So we have three types of user. One is admin, another one is authors, and the last one is who will actually read the post. And here you can see my XAMPP is on. So Apache server and MySQL is on. Okay, because without this you cannot access. So now we will actually start do coding. Okay. Okay. So at first actually I want to connect with database. I will create a file, PHP file for the database. So I will say dv.php. So my file is db.php, and here actually I want to connect to the database. So that's why actually I have used this file. So here I will write PHP syntax first, and here we will use connection. So for the connection actually we need a server. So we'll do server here. Okay, we'll add server here, and then we need a user. So we'll add user. Then we need password. So I need one more variable, that is password. So you can give here any name, right? Because these are variables. And we need another variable that is for the DB name, our database name. Now actually we know our server is localhost. That's why we have to write here local host. And our user is by default root, and password is null. You cannot give here space. Keep it in mind. And then we have database name. So let's go to the database. Here you can see our database name is blogpostdb. So we just have to write here blogpostdb. Now all the parameter done. Now actually want to set the connection. So for the connection actually I want to set a variable con and then new mysqli. It will create a new connection, and here we'll actually pass all the four parameters. Here server first, and then username, then password, $pass. We need db name, right? Db name, $db name actually, because variable this is our variable, right? So we have to use dollar here. Everything is done here, and yes, now actually our connection is done. So we'll check that if the connection is done or not. So we'll say if not dollar con, if our connection is not done yet, so we'll say echo, we'll show the connection error. We'll say error, we'll print the error. So we'll say $con connection connect error. I have made mistake here, so I have to just use this. Let's see our connection is done or not. Okay, so I will say here for now actually I will say that echo connection is done. Okay, so now let's go to the browser, and here we will say localhost / our project name. So our project name is blog post. So we'll say here blog post, and this is the file db.php, and here you can see our connection is done. So we have successfully connected to the database. Still I want to remove this else, because this connection I will actually include this db.php in every single time actually I need connection. Okay, that's why actually I have created this file, and our next file would be for the registration. Okay, because we want to register the user, we'll add new file here, register.php. So here actually I have copied some code here, you can see. So this is the file, and I want to add HTML in the body. Actually I want to paste it. Okay, so I paste it. Now let's remove this. So this is our form. Here you can see I have action same page. So yes, I will do in the same page. I will do action in the same page. So my page is register, right? Register.php, and our method is post. Everything is done here. So you can see I have input field name and email. Okay, for the name and email. Then for the password also I have another input field, you can see. And then I have a radio button. Here you can see select, to know that the user is subscriber or author. So that's why actually we have given here a radio button. So here, and the last we have another input button for the submit button. So you can see our button tab type is submit and the value is register. So now let's go to the browser and check how it looks like. So go back here, you just have to refresh and then register.php. So this is our field. Here you can see we have name, email, password, and everything. All right, okay. I don't want to show you the css because it will take long time. When we actually complete the project, that time actually we can do css. Okay, right now actually we don't want to do any css because it will take too much time. So if I click on register, you can see I have a normal form variation here. So here you can see in the input field I have used required. We already talked about required, right, in our previous video. If you are a beginner, you can follow our PHP A to Z. Let me show you. So this is our playlist. You can follow this playlist, PHP A to Z or PHP step by step. So I actually said that if somebody click on this submit button, register, it will redirect to the same page register. So we have to accept the values, right? So we will write here another PHP script, and here I will say that if our button is submitted, okay? So I will say is set function here, is set, and then I will say $_post because our method is post. $_post global variable, and here I will say that submit button because our button name is submit. Here you can see our button name is submit. I have said that if our button is actually clicked, then we will enter this clause. So actually want to store the variable, I mean we want to store the field value, right? Because it will actually redirect with the field value. Here you can see all the field value, input field value. So actually I want to receive them. So how? We want to set a local variable here with $sign. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 variable, right? Okay. So for the name, we will say name. Then for the email, we will say email. For the password, we will say password. For the role, we will say role. Okay. All are set. Okay. And now we'll actually want to store them. So our super global variable will be used here, post, and then the field name. So our field name is name. For the name, our field name is name. For the email, email, password is password, and for the role is role. So here I will say name. And next, $_post email. Let me just copy it. I'll say here password post post POST. Okay. And this is not email, this will be goal. Okay, everything is done here, right? Now actually want to insert them. We want to insert them, okay? In our table. So how actually you can insert them? We have to use here connection first and then a query. We have to set a query and we have to set connection first. So our connection is in the db.php. So we have to include this file here. We will say include. We have to say here db.php. So here we actually want to use, we want to use session here because actually session needed for the, for the tracking purpose. Let's say I have multiple users. So actually which user actually now logged in, and so I have to keep, tracking the user, right? So that time actually we need session here. So we have to start session here. Let's say I want to add session here. So I will say, we know to start a session, we have to say here session start, right? And now actually want to do query. So I will say here SQL, standard query language, and the standard query language will be insert. Insert into the table name is users, right? Yes, users. And just we have to set the values. So we have all the column here. So in our user table, you can see we have ID, name, email, password, and role. So actually ID is auto incremented. If I go to the structure, you can see we have already talked about this, right, in our previous video. So ID is authenticator, so we don't need to add it, right? We just have to add name, email, password, and role. So let's go here. Okay. Let's go to the code editor, and here we will say we just want to add name, right? So we'll say name, email, password, then role. Okay, so we have already added them, and I mean all the columns. Now actually want to add values to the column, right? So we'll say here values, and now we will add all the values. So our values is all the variables, right? We have stored all the values in these variables. So name, email, password, and role. So let's add them one by one. So here, first of all, we will add name, and then second comma quotation, I mean single quotation, and here dollar email, right? Then quotation, single quotation, and here we will say dollar password. We have added name, email, and password, and then the last one is role. I mean, the user is author or subscriber. So you have added all the values, right? Now our query is also done. Here you can see this is the query actually. Now we want to execute the query. So we'll say here result, because I want to set a variable and I want to store the query result in this variable. So here I will say mysqli function, mysqli query. So this is the function actually for the query, and this is the function, and here we just have to pass two parameter. One for the connection, so our connection variable is con, right? You can see in the db.php, here you can see our connection variable is con. So we have set a variable, and here actually we have set the connection. So $con is the variable, and then we have another variable that is the SQL, our query. So now actually our result will be executed. I mean query will be executed, and the query result will be stored in the result variable. So now we will actually check the result is executed or not. Okay. Now we will say if not result, we just have to use here a dollar sign because it's a variable. So we'll say here if the result not executed, we will say the error. So we'll echo the error actually why the result will be not executed. So here we will say error, and we will paste the error here, and that is dollar our on error. Okay, that's it. So now actually we have set error also. Now if it is successful, then else it will go to the else condition, and here we will say echo. We'll say here the registration. Okay, the registration done successfully. Now let's check the registration process, and here we just have to go to the browser, and here we will refresh it. Okay, and here I will set the name Yamin, and email yamin@gmail.com. Password is let's say 123, and this is let's say author, and now I will click register. So here you can see we have error here, mysqli exception. We have an error. I've made mistake here, values, values. Okay, this is the mistake, real mistake. Everything is done. Here you can see the query once again, name, email, password, role, and values like this. Okay, now it will work hopefully. Name yamin@gmail.com, password is 123, role as author, register. The registration done successfully. Okay, the registration done successfully. Now actually we have successfully registered the user. So let's check now. We'll go to the user here. We'll check the user is added or not. Here you can see we have added one user, Yamin, and the role is author. So we have successfully registered an user, right? Now we will go for the login purpose. Okay, for the login purpose, we will do login.php. I mean, we will add one more PHP file for the login purpose. So we'll add here login.php. So here actually we will try to log in. I have just copied a form here. You can see for the email and password. So I want to type here HTML. So I'll go to the body section and here I will paste it. And let me just remove this from here. Okay. So I have added login from here. So we will go to the browser and we will go to our project file. And here you can see we have login.php, right? So here you can see we have email field and we have password field and we have a login button. So we want to actually, when somebody actually click on login button, so actually I want to set here input. I want to set an input field type should be submit and I want to add a name here and name should be also submit. And here I want to set login. Okay, everything is done here and that's it. I want to cut it from here and I want to set the value for it. Look, okay, now everything is done here and I want to action to the same page. So the same page is login.php, right? I want to redirect it to the same page and our method is post. So now actually if I go here and if I refresh, now you can see we have everything as before. Now we want to, I mean, when we actually click on the submit button, I mean login button, it will redirect to the same page. So we have to accept those values, right? From those input field values. So we just have to go to the top of the page and here we just have to write a PHP syntax like this. And here we will actually store all the values. So I will say here if is set. We want to add a function that if is set dollar underscore our method is post. So I will say here post and here we want to say that if submit button clicked then we will enter this clause, otherwise not. And here I will say okay, actually I want to keep those session here. Of course I want to start it from here to here. Okay, so we have started the session and we will also start, I want to start the connection also, right? So I will say here include, so we'll add connection also. So we'll say db.php of that connection, right? Here you can see our connection is in the db.php. So here we have start session and we have set the connection. Now I've said that, okay, if submit button is clicked, then I want to store the values. So I will say here dollar what the values actually I am getting from the form, email and password, right? So I want to go here, I want to save email, right? Email dollar underscore post email, because our field name is email, right? And then we have another variable that is for the password, dollar underscore post, our field value is password, I mean field name is password, right? Okay, so now actually want to do the query. So the query is dollar sql, let's say, and our select, we have to use here select query because we want to fetch the data and we will check that if the email and password is exist in our database. So we'll say here select star from the table name. Our table name is users. We want to set condition where email equal to this dollar mail. We want data from the email actually containing this email, I mean the field value, okay, email field value. So we'll check. So this email is actually the user column, user tables column, okay. Here you can see email. So we have checked that where the email will be this email field email. We just have to use here single quotation. Yeah. Everything is done now. Now actually I want to execute the query, right? So to, okay, where is the, okay. So we just want to execute the query. So we'll set variable here result and want to execute the query. So we'll call a function mysqli query. And here we'll pass two parameter, one for the connection, one for the query. So we have done. Now we will add a condition that if result is not done, once again same mistake, I want to use dollar here. So if dollar result is not done, we will say that we'll echo the error, right? So we want to show the error, so we'll say error, and we want to show the error also, so we'll say dollar con. Here we just have to say error, that's it. So we'll show the error, and If the query is executed perfectly, then you'll go here and we'll check. Else we'll say here if our result dollar result results. So want to know that if the result is executed, so want to actually fetch the data, right? So want to check that if the value is more than 0, it means it exists, right? The values exist actually. So I will say here if result, and then we'll say rows, num underscore rows is greater than equal to, is greater than 0. Want to say echo here, let log in successfully. Now let's go. Uh, Let me just refresh here, and I want to add yamin@gmail.com and password is 123, right? So I will click on login. Here you can see logged in successfully. So actually I don't want to stay in the same page, right? So I need to go in the dashboard. So let's just create another file here for the dashboard. So I will say here dashboard.php. So this is the dashboard, and I want to go to the dashboard. I want to add anchor link here, and here in the reference section, I want to give the reference, and that is dashboard.php. And we just have to say here dashboard. Now let's go to the browser, and if I refresh here, syntax error. Okay, so the problem was I have used here double quotation. Now let's go to the browser and go back. So I want to refresh, and here our email was yamin@gmail.com and password is 123. So if I click on login, and here you can see log in successfully, and we have a option here you can see, and that is dashboard. So if I click on dashboard, so it will go to the dashboard.php. So now actually we want to add logout button in the dashboard so that anyone can actually log out, right? So go to the dashboard, and here we have to use all the time the session. Okay. Now actually I want to show you why I actually take the session, and how actually session works. So here you can see we have start session. Session basically need for the target the user, right? So now currently which user actually uh, logged in my website, let's say. So that is the reason why actually we use session. So I want to target the user, right? So now I will add session here. So I will say dollar underscore session. Want to set variable, that is user id. So you can give here any name actually. So this is not fixed. And then we want to add the id. So the id is from the table. So here you can see I have said that I want all the information, all the data from the table, right? Users table. So we'll go to the browser, and we'll check that. Okay, so our id column name is id. So I will say here id. We'll say here there's a dollar result. I have to show the id, right? So I need id, and I want to save the username also. So I will say here dollar underscore session, and here I will say username. You can give here any name, right? I will say result, and the column name is name from the database, right? We already talked about associative array, and we know that in associative array you have to access the column name, right? In the index array we actually access through index number. In associative array we actually access through column name. So that's why actually we are giving here column name, and result is the query result, right? So here everything is done, and now I will say one more thing, that is dollar underscore session. So we need one more thing, that is role, right? So we'll say user role, and we'll say dollar result. We want to set here role. Okay, so we have set session, right? Actually, I don't want to use here result. I want to set a variable, that is row. and I want to fetch the result as associative array. I want to fetch the result as associative array. And here you can see in the result variable, actually I do query, right? I mean, it will show me all the data, but I want all the data as associative array. So I need another variable row. And here I will say that I will add a function here, and that is mysql I underscore fetch. I want to fetch data as associative array. So I will say assoc. So this is the function actually I have to use, and I want to pass the result variable as parameter in this function. So now actually my all the what can I say? All the result will be now saved in this variable as associative array. Now actually I can access them. So here I just have to change row or new variable row. So here you can see we have added here a variable for the associative array, and now we actually save them, right? Now it will actually work. So let's go to the browser and let's see if here any error or not. So we have this 1, 2, 3. Everything is successfully done. Now we are in the dashboard. Now actually we have set session ID, right? Session ID, session name, and session role. Okay. Okay. So now actually we will go to the dashboard.php, and now we will do code for the dashboard.php. Because now we are in the dashboard, right? So we want to add a logout button here, and we will do so many things in the dashboard, because in the dashboard actually we can see our comments, and if I am author, then we can see option to add post, right? So we'll do this later, but now actually we just want to add only a logout button. And actually now my session will work. I mean, now actually I needed the session perfectly. So we have set session here, right, in the login of .php, and here we have set some session when actually somebody logged in. Now we will check the session is activated or not. So every single time if someone actually want to access this URL, okay, if somebody actually directly want to access this URL, he can actually do without logged in. So actually want to set here if condition that if session not set, then no one can actually come to this page. If they find this URL, no problem. But when they actually want to come through this URL, actually he cannot come here in the dashboard.php. He will redirect to the login.php. Okay. So let's go and let's check here. So I will say here PHP script, and I will say that if, okay, I want to start session first, right? Every single time for the new page, actually I want to start session first. So I will say session start function. Now my session is actually start here. Now I will set that if our session ID is actually set or not. Here you can see we have set session ID, right? So we'll check that if not is set, dollar underscore global variable session, and then ID. So we'll say that if session ID is not set, then we will redirect him or her to the login.php. So we'll say here header function, and inside this header function we want to use location. So I will say location login.php. So now let's say I want to destroy session here, let's say. So destroy session destroy, right? So now I will go to the browser and I will refresh it. Okay. Now you can see now I have destroyed the session, right? Here you can see. Now if anyone actually come to this, come through this dashboard URL, he will redirect to the login.php. So this is why actually we need to use session, because we want to track the user. So let's say you have a dashboard, and if somebody come to your dashboard and delete everything you have actually in your dashboard, then is it going to be okay? No, right? So that's why actually we need session to track the user, that user is logged in or not. I hope you understand. Now we will remove it because we have set the method, I mean if condition. So now every single time if somebody come here through this URL, if he is not logged in, then he will redirect to the login.php. So now you can see we're in login.php. Now I want to enter here. So now you can see now you can go here in the dashboard. Else will echo. Let's say I want to show that you are okay. I'll say here welcome to dashboard. Your name is, let's say, $_session, and your name is username, right? We have set username for the name. Here you can see in the login.php, you can see we have username and user role. So I will set here also role. So I will say your role is admin or sorry, author or subscriber, right? So I have to say here $_session. I'll set here user role, the session variable user role. Okay. And now let's check if it is working or not. I will go here Yamin and then password is 123. If I logged in, go to the dashboard, still not working properly. Why? Oops. So we have user ID here and we have user ID, right? We have to set here user ID. What is happening here? Oh, okay. Now let's say I want to say here Milan and 123. If I logged in and now I can go to the dashboard and here you can see welcome to dashboard. Your name is Milan and your role is subscriber. Okay. And if I destroy session here, let me just destroy session, destroy. Okay. Now if I refresh, now you can see it will uh, redirect to the login.php. Now actually anyone can't go through dashboard.php. Every single time you will try to go dashboard, it will redirect to the login page. So you have to log in first. So that is the reason actually why we want to use session, right? And now login, and here now you can go to the dashboard, right? Okay. Now actually I want to add a logout button here. So I will add logout button. So let me just add a button here. Anchor tag here is like this, and like this. And here in the reference section, I will say href single quotation, and I will create a logout page. So I will let me just create first logout page. So I will say logout.php. So this is my logout page, and I will give the link here logout.php, and I will say here log or maybe space. So now if I go here, if I go to the dashboard, you can see I have a logout button here. If I click on logout, then you can see I'm in logout.php. So we'll do query here logout.php. So here we will set, we want to actually destroy the session here, right? So I want to set here PHP script, and I want to write here that I want to every single time actually I want to start session first. So start session, and then I want to destroy the session actually. So I have made mistake here. It will be like this session start. So the function is like this, and now I will destroy the session also. So I will say session destroy, and I will set location. So header function, and here I will say location would be login, right? Login dot php. Now let's go here in the browser. If I refresh, you can see now it's logged out. Now anyone actually, we are logged out, right? So anyone cannot actually go here, dashboard.php without login. So here actually I want to log in with Yamin. So I will say here 123, enter and go to the dashboard. And here you can see your name is Yamin and you are, your role is as author. And I want to log out here. So if I click log out, then you can see I'm in logout, login.php page, okay? So our user authentication is done. We properly did it. Here you can see. If you have any doubt, let me know in the comment section. I hope you understand well. So if you find this video helpful for you, make sure to give a like, please, and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. If you have any query, let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.